Rightio, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We are on our approach here into Miami. We've started our descent. Let's go ahead and connect that. Started our descent via the Vice to arrival. Rightio. So, now that we've got where we need to be here, we are currently descending via the Vice to arrival into Miami. So let's go ahead and take a look at our arrivals. Right. So this is our Vice to arrival via the Mattis transition. So here we are. All right. So we started our approach at Mattis, where we started, where we were in our descent, and we're starting to go down. I will break off for us to do the runway 26 left approach. Currently, we do have Miami Tower online, and they will be providing us with landing clearance and our ground taxi ops. Now, with this today, seeing that we are going to be getting into Miami, one of the things that we're going to be remembering is that we are going to be taxiing over to the international ramp. There we go. Took us some while. All right, so this is the international satellite. We can go either concourse Foxtrot, or we can take concourse Echo. So this is basically the ground we land. Gonna attempt to get off of Juliet Juliet, or we can try to get off of Mike 5 or Mike 4. But Juliet Juliet is where, or Zulu is where we're looking at. So it's gonna be left turns to get off the runway. Taxi via Zulu, then Papa, and then we should be coming into Concourse Echo. So from what I know here in Miami, after we land, this is where we're going to be coming in. Zulu, Papa, and then we're heading over to either Whiskey for Echo or Victor for Echo. So we're just going to expect that. Seeing that we're doing an international flight from the Caribbean to Miami, to a large airport. This is going to be our concourse for arrival today. This is usually for this concourse Delta is usually for American Airlines. Concourse Foxtrot is usually for European airlines and so on, and also other airlines, depends on where they're coming from. But again, we're on our Vice to arrival for runway 26 left. We had to make adjustments to our arrival or approach plan because the aircraft's the Vice to arrival is usually for runway 09er. However, 09er is not in use today. It's 26 left, 26 right, 27, and 25, if I'm not being mistaken right there. All right, our information in our FMS has already been inputted. So we have our approach phase and our go-around phase, which has already been inputted. Our QNH is 29907. The temperature is 20. It should be dropping. Winds 250 at 6 knots. Our transition flight level is 185. Our approach speed is going to be about 140, and our minimums is going to be at, we should put 210 here, not 209, which is going to be 210. All right, we're crossing 185. We're still on the Caribbean CPDLC. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that. We're going to head over to the menu, ATC and COM. All right, let's check our connection status. All right, we're not connected to anyone. All right, we'll just remain on our AOC. And this is our arrival message. All right, so this is in the event that we want to go. Yes, we need GPU. This is normally whenever we're going to do a second flight, especially for we have 2 legs. You would go ahead and input that information here. You send that out, and then GSX will prepare for the next flight. All right, here we are. And we should be switching over to our transition right now. All right, 10:15 is set in the box. It's beautiful night sky headed into Miami. Our next flight that is going to be done from Miami to, not from Miami, but from Guadeloupe to Miami is going to follow the real world route. I did follow some of the routing that they did, and they did a pretty unique way of getting around the San Juan FIR. They put in a request into SimBrief so that they can add avoidance or route avoidance based upon your FIR. So instead of putting it between TRAs, you can go ahead and just select an FIR. So for example, if you're flying through Miami and Miami is not allowed to be flown through, you can select Miami, and then the Miami FIR will be excluded in your routes plotted. Which this would have done great for this particular flight, but it's not what we were able to get. All right, so our landing information, if we go to our sim brief here. All right, estimated landing weight is going to be 64.4. 64.4. We're going to go ahead and enter that. 64.4. There we go. We are runway 26 to left for arrival. Gonna apply that METAR. Manual landing, low auto brake, idle, no reverse. And here we go, 2,600 meters of landing distance available. We'll have a slight crosswind of at least 1 knots, 3 knots headwind, and it's safe to come in. So select low auto brake right here. Spoilers are going to be armed at this time. Seatbelt signs going on. Waiting for 10,000. All right, let's go ahead and turn off our lights in the cockpit. We're going dark. All right, aircraft is slowing down for 10,000 right there. airspeed is bleeding out. 261 is allowed, and here we go, landing lights to on. All right, here we go. I know where it. It is currently 10:18 p.m. here in the Caribbean, well, parts of the Caribbean. And yeah, we're just pretty much turning in. This will be my final flight for the evening as we head into Miami there. Right, 25 miles to end of descent. Let's go ahead and turn on the landing systems at this time. We aren't using any speed brake, any of these stuff. This aircraft is a lot better at managing its energy, mainly because this is not the Sharklets version. This is the wingtip fence version. The wingtip fences have a better has better performance in terms of their handling of energy management. All right, they're gonna do everything else they need to do on their end. We're okay with that. Currently, I'm not seeing any aircrafts in and around. Oh, yeah, I do. I do see an aircraft right there. That guy is flying in, but he's not on our TCAS, so he's pretty far out. I don't see anyone else within our flight path here. Usually you'll see them looking like that, where it's multiple different colors. So I'm not seeing anything else within my vision, except that was a runway, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that should be a runway. There's our runway. So there's the airport right there, and we're approaching. I mean, this is going to be our deceleration point where the aircraft will automatically start slowing down for the approach phase, or before the landing phase, sorry. All right, we're keeping our heads on a swivel here, trying to find any traffic if in the event that we need to do traffic avoidance. But looks like Miami is clear today with minimal traffic on VATSIM. Yes, we are flying on VATSIM. We do have minimal traffic in Miami today. Yeah, there's almost zero. Usually in Miami, on VATSIM, you usually have a huge amount of traffic around Miami. But I think everyone is either, at work or having fun somewhere. So, all right, there's Miami coming into view. So if you see, once we hit this point, the aircraft is automatically going to start reducing its speed so that it could perform the arrival into Miami. We're descending through 4,700 feet. Again, we do have Miami Tower online. So before we initiate our landing, or while we are being established on the approach, we will go ahead and contact Miami Tower, let them know that we are inbound. 3,000 is set. 3,000 is our go around altitude. For flights in 2024 and the Phoenix, I have not calibrated the throttles. So for after landing, we are going to use idle reverse, but that means that I'm going to have to use the toggle on my keyboard, which is going to be F2. to bring the aircraft to idle reverse. I can disengage reversers using my throttle quadrant here, so that would be what we'll do. So you notice we had a little bit of positive picture that we can reduce our descent rate, reducing our speed as we enter the approach. So I'm going to go ahead and select the approach mode for our aircraft. So we see Cat 3 single. Cat 3 dual is when I engage autopilot number 2. So you'll see Cat 2 dual, and most of the FMA is going to be displayed through here. All right, pretty much on that approach, or flaps 1. Switching over to Miami Tower. Oh, okay, Miami Tower is no longer online. Miami traffic, Airfront 616, we are at Basho, 2.3 miles, descending on the approach runway 26 left, Miami. All right, so we've called up with Miami traffic, and again, there's no traffic, nothing to see except for this one and that one. We do have 2 aircrafts on that side. Nothing on that side, and here we go. The aircraft glide slope localizer star. So we are nearby to the glide slope, and we are getting established on the localizer. Go for approach, ILS runway 26 left. That is going to be loaded up here, and here we go. We are currently right here, entering the ILS. Flaps 2. The aircraft is performing a slowdown right now. And we are geared down. Miami traffic, Airfront 616, we are established on the ILS runway 26 left, Miami. All right, flaps 3. You notice our energy is bleeding off. If we're on the shark list, this thing would not have bled off so quickly. Flaps full. Spoiler still armed. QNH is set, 2000, check. Landing checklist. Landing gear down a lock, 3 greens. Flap select full. Auto brake low. Speed brake armed. ECAM memo landing no blue. Checklist complete. Approaching 1000. Our go around does have a nav mode. We do have go around in nav mode, and even that we decide to go around, if you notice, we're climbing up, right turn up to 4000. 3000 is set, but it's usually 3000 around and 4000 up to the hold in, where the aircraft will perform its hold. We're landing with plenty enough fuel.
Miami traffic, American 1389, taxiing to 267 via Whiskey Mike.
All right, 1000 feet. And we are coming off the AP. All right, here we go. We're off autopilot. So we're flying the aircraft manually.
500.
Check.
400.
It's a little bit high.
100 above. Minimum.
Continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
There we go. And we are on the ground. And we are exiting the runway now. Alright, there we go. Miami traffic, airfront 616 exited runway 26 left at Juliet, Miami. Alright, so we are gonna try to get out of the traffic's way. Seem that they're gonna be heading down that way. So,
Radio check.
5x5. Alright, there we go. Flaps going up. Well as are disarmed, and our APU is currently in start. Alright. Let's take a look at our ground chart. So as we mentioned, we were trying Juliet or Zulu. We are just going to taxi down via Juliet to the international concourse. So we're going to slowly roll down and just wait for us if it's a call in. There goes our American flight. Traffic, Air France 616, we're taxiing to the international concourse via Juliet, Whiskey, Victor, Miami. All right, so let's go international. Go ahead. APU bleed is on. It's all the way down Juliet. So that means we're going to cross everything here and go all the way down to the end. Can actually just join here and go across, but I'm not going to do all of that. It's like the penalty box. All right, let's go ahead and turn off our landing system. It's off on that side too. Everything else looks good. Brakes are cooling down. No hot brakes here today. Alright, let's go down Papa. Almost overshot.
2646,
Well, I did overshoot the taxi here, but we're just turning in. And then we're international concourse.
Last caller, you're like 1 by 5.
The international concourse is right here.
Radio check, radio check.
5 by 5.
And Miami traffic American 2646, section runway 26 left via November, Mike, Miami.
Alright, he's over somewhere around here. So he's in Concourse Delta, we're headed Echo. So we can turn, we can either turn left or keep going down, and we should be entering, it's gonna continue down. Just in case if anybody spawns in or is gonna be taxiing out, we're not gonna be blocking anyone. So we'll come up from below, which is down here at Victor, and then we'll come up into the international stands here. I didn't see where our real counterpart landed in parts. I think I'll rewatch flight radar in order for us to see where they went.
Miami traffic American 1389, departing 26 left, close 3 departure.
Alright, we're left turn in here. All right, let's get onto that satellite. And I see blue lights down here. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and turn our lights off as we enter the gates. There we go. As we flow in, we're coming in nice and slow for these gates. Just a little bit to the nose wheel is a little bit to the right of the center line here. We're going in, parking for Charlie.
Miami traffic American 2646, line up runway 26 left.
Brake, there we go. Parking brake is set. So we're all set here, and we're good. Turn this off. Fuel bleed is on, and engine's going off. Beacon lights is off. Yep, we're in the board right now. Alright, let's clear this. Status, we're checked, we're good. Company message. Alright, we got our arrival message. And there we go. Welcome to Miami, guys. Or welcome to the gates here at the International Concourse Gate Echo 31. Yeah, we're pretty much going to remain here for a little while.
1489, clear of 26 left.
While we get into another flight. The other flight will be the return flight. Hopefully we did get some good, perfect landing there. The thing is, I'm going to be dropping out of my aircraft. Although it does have that thing there, but here we go. Alright, so we're going to perform the walk around, make sure that everything is okay.
Miami traffic American 2646, departing on runway 26 left, departing to the east Miami.
Those look okay. And we're just basically completing our walk around. We don't see any other traffic on the ground yet. That's a big traffic. There's an aircraft coming in for arrival. I don't see anything else. And Miami's very, very, very quiet today. So the final thing that we're doing is just doing our walk around. And then we can go ahead and chill out. All right, we do have our flashlight going on. Our APU went off. Yep, cool down on the noise. Oh my lord, gotta go all the way around. But, okay guys, I hope you guys did have a great viewing of our landing. It was pretty nice, if I do say so myself. Thank you so much for joining us on the short flight. Again, gonna try to do some more of the short form where the only thing we do is either we do a landing or if we're doing our takeoff. But I feel, it helps you guys not have to wait the 3 or 4 hours not hearing anything or listening to me speak for 3 or 4 hours. But yeah. Again, thank you guys so much for joining me on the flight, and I hope you guys have an awesome evening. Thanks, guys.